Welcome to the Arlington Street Church podcast. Founded in 1729, Arlington Street continues today as a gathering place for progressive people of faith in the greater Boston area and beyond. We are located at the corner of Arlington and Boylston Streets, across from the Public Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.
We all know that being in the moment is a spiritual practice. For our service today, close on the heels of the summer solstice, we celebrate the season through some of our favorite summertime poems. Summer heat, summer flowers, lakeside or seashore, maybe even a bit of summer romance. It's all here. Join with us for a poetic celebration of summer as some of our favorite poets take us on a whirlwind tour of what it means to be human in summer. And who better to start us off than Mary Oliver, a brilliant observer of the details and moments that make up our lives. Here's her poem, Summer Morning. Heart, I implore you, it's time to come back from the dark. It's morning. The hills are pink, and the roses, whatever they felt in the valley of night, are opening now their soft dresses. Their leaves are shining. Why are you laggard? Sure, you have seen this 1,000 times, which isn't half enough. Let the world have its way with you, luminous as it is with mystery and pain, graced as it is with the ordinary. Irish poet William Butler Yeats is one of my favorites. In our next poem, he evokes the peace that time by the water can bring, sounding like a poetic cousin of Thoreau and a kindred spirit to Mary Oliver. Here is the Lake Isle of Innisfree. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There, midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always, night and day, I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray, I hear it in the deep heart's core.
A Green Crab Shell by Provincetown's own Mark Doty is our next poem. Picture this, a small crab shedding its shell, creating space for something new. I find it a fascinating metaphor that aligns with the transformative journey many of us experience. Not exactly green, closer to bronze, preserved in kind brine, something retrieved from a Greco-Roman wreck, patinated and oddly muscular. We cannot know what his fantastic legs were like, though evidence suggests 8 complexly folded scuttling works of armament, crowned by the 4-claws gesture of menace and power. A gull's gobbled the center, leaving this chamber size of a demi-tasse, open to reveal a shocking Giotto blue. Though it smells of seaweed and ruin, this little traveling case comes with such lavish lining. Imagine breathing surrounded by the brilliant rents of summer's firmament. What color is the underside of skin? Not so bad to die if we could be opened into this, if the smallest chambers of ourselves similarly revealed some sky. Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare is probably one of his most well-known poems. It's one of my favorites too. Written in only 14 lines, it is a hymn of praise in which the speaker expresses admiration for the beauty of a young man. It also teaches the reader that both love and beauty can be captured for eternity in poetry, unlike in the fleeting nature of summer. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Claude McKay was a key figure of the Harlem Renaissance, a prominent literary movement of the 1920s. Infused with pride in his African heritage, his early poems reflect his strong interest in English Romantic poetry. First published in 1922, his poem, A Summer Morn in New Hampshire, describes how one speaker is unmoved by the brilliance of the day as he is too consumed by his love for another. All yesterday it poured, and all night long I could not sleep. The rain unceasing beat upon the shingled roof like a weird song, upon the grass like running children's feet, and down the mountains by the dark cloud kissed like a strange shape in filmy veiling, dressed, slid slowly, silently, the wraith-like mist, and nestled soft against the earth's wet breast. But lo, there was a miracle at dawn. The still air stirred at touch of the faint breeze. The sun, a sheet of gold, bequeathed to the lawn. The songsters twittered in the rustling trees, and all things were transfigured in the day. But me, whom radiant beauty could not move, for you, more wonderful, were far away, and I was blind with hunger for your love.
We turn now from the heat of love to the sweltering, oppressive, dog-day heat of summer. Here's American modernist poet Hilda Doolittle's poem, Heat, in which she makes heat a physical object, one that can be torn, cut, or pushed aside. O wind, rend open the heat, cut apart the heat, rend it to tatters. Fruit cannot drop through this thick air. Fruit cannot fall into the heat that presses up and blunts the points of pears and rounds the grapes. Cut the heat, plow through it, turning it on either side of your path. Li Po, also known as Li Bei, was one of the greatest poets of 8th century Tang Dynasty China. Over 1,000 of his poems are still known today. For a bit of respite, come with him on a quick escape to the mountains. Here's his poem, In the Mountains on a Summer Day. Gently I stir a white feather fan with open shirt, sitting in a green wood. I take off my cap and hang it on a jutting stone. A wind from the pine trees trickles on my bare head. Late June is my favorite time of year in New England. The sun rises at 5 a.m., as do I. The pink blossoms of spring have given way to the bolder colors of summer, and the world is alive. Listen as Cape Cod poet Marge Piercy immerses us in the riotous flora and fauna of June. Here's her poem, More Than Enough. The first lily of June opens its red mouth. All over the sand road where we walk, multiflora rose climbs trees, cascading white or pink blossoms, simple, intense, the scene drifting like colored mist. The arrowhead is spreading its creamy clumps of flower, and the blackberries are blooming in the thickets. Season of joy for the bee. The green will never again be so green, so purely and lushly new, grass lifting its weedy seed heads into the wind. Rich, fresh wine of June, we stagger into you, smeared with pollen, overcome as the turtle, laying her eggs in roadside sand.
When I think of summer, I can't help but think of reunions. 40 years ago, my mother and 3 of my aunts decided to hold our first family reunion as a way to keep our large extended family together. Since then, we've met every other year, with the exception of at the height of the pandemic. Next month, we return to Griffin, Georgia, where the first reunion was held. Poet, writer, and fellow Shakespeare lover, Rita Dove, amongst her myriads of honors, was the first African American to serve as Poet Laureate of the United States. In her wonderful poem, Family Reunion, Ms. Dove brilliantly captured just what it feels like to be at such a reunion as mine. 30 seconds into the barbecue, my Cleveland cousins have everyone speaking Southern broadened vowels and dropped consonants, whoops and caws. It's more osmosis than magic, a sliding thrall back to a time when working the tire factories meant entire neighborhoods coming up from Georgia or Tennessee, accents helplessly intact, while their children, inflections flattened to match the field they thought they were playing on, knew without asking when it was safe to roll out a drawl. Just as it's understood, potluck means resurrecting the food we abandoned along the way for the sake of sleeker thighs. I look over the yard to the porch with its battalion of aunts, the wavering ranks of uncles at the grill. Everywhere hordes of progeny are swirling, and my cousins yakking on as if they were waist deep in quicksand, but like the books recommend, aren't moving until someone hauls them free. Who are all these children? Who had them, and with whom? Through the general coffee tones, the shame genetics cut a creamy swath. Cherokee's burnt umber transposed onto generous lips. A glance flares gray above the crushed nose we label anonymous African. It's all here, the beautiful geometry of Mendel's peas and their grim logic. And though we remain clearly divided on the merits of okra, there's still time to demolish the cheese grits and tear into slow-cooked ribs so tender, we agree they're worth the extra pound or two our menfolk swear will always bring them home. Pity the poor soul who lives a life without butter, those pinched knees and tennis shoulders and hatchety smiles.
Beloved spiritual companions, in the words of Chicago poet Gwendolyn Brooks, poetry is life. So, savor your summer moment by moment. Wake at 5 a.m. to greet the morning. Have a reunion with your family or your family of choice. Let the world have its way with you. And to paraphrase singer-songwriter Jackie DeShannon, who said, "Put a little love in your life. Put a little poetry in your life." And now, for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in Namaste. I bow to the divine in you. Our benediction today comes from poet May Sarton. Help us to be the always hopeful gardeners of the Spirit, who know that without darkness, nothing comes to birth. As without light, nothing flowers. Let's keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on.
The service begins when the service ends.
Bless your hearts. I love you.
I love you.
Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.